so tired. And it's so gray outside. Today, I woke up. Congratulations. I took a shower, and while I was in the shower, there was a huge rumble of thunder that shook the house, which was really fun, actually. I love thunder and lightning storms. And apparently, I don't know where I was going with that, actually. I'm going to take that right back and just move forward. So this video, I'm going to be doing another poem. This time, I'm going to be doing a poem that I wrote recently. And it's not in my phone. It's going to be in my little journal that I like writing in. So I'm going to get that real quick. You didn't hear that. I can smell the ink on this page. Interesting. Also, my friend got me this notebook while she was in Turkey. It's very beautiful. It's from an artist. I think how you pronounce it is Musha. Yeah, it's backwards, but I think it's Musha. I could be very, very wrong, but very beautiful art. Thank you, my friend. So this one I dated. It is January 29th, 2025. I was in Virginia in my grandmother's home. My grandmother's no longer with us, but my mom repossessed the home, thank goodness, so that now I get the privilege of living in it myself whenever I go down there. And this is it. The sun is in the web, having been caught in the perfect position, as the window has caught me, dancing, in the sun's favorite room, where he once loved my grandmother and her fatigue so much it melted away. She remained, filling the room with beautiful things he could touch and bring to life, not only so the room could live on its own, but so the windows could capture every moment thereon. I have only now begun to think of the wise creature who decided, intentionally, to build a home in the frame, so this house my grandmother fought for could witness beauty all the time. Here I am, the child of their love's dream, fulfilling the room's purpose, with no trace of fatigue in my spirit. What a beautiful picture. That was kind of ugly, whatever. Yeah, I was sitting in the living room, and it was just this beautiful golden light that cast in through the window, and there's this web in the window that I actually haven't taken down. I like those things. I like leaving up the little things that creatures around us do, the homes that they make in our homes. It's very personal to me. And it was a beautiful big web. I mean, it's still there. And it's huge. It's like bigger than my big head. And the sun was literally casting the perfect ray of light through that web. And it was so beautiful. The web didn't split the sun up. It didn't fracture it. I don't know if I've ever seen that happen, actually, but that would be really cool. But it was just very beautiful, and I thought about my grandmother in that moment and how her setup looked different from what it looks like now. Her furniture is now passed on. I think some of my family still has it, or maybe they gave it away. But it was such a comfy little spot to be in, and she always had her chair that she loved to sit in. It was a chair with a footrest. Maybe it was like a pull-out chair. I can't remember that part, but she always sat in that chair, and she always watched her crime TV shows. I remember that when I was very, very little, and it was just so peaceful in that house. We always came there as children and roughhoused and caused so much ruckus, and she would always tell us, quiet it down in there, you know. But she still let us be who we were regardless, and we were always stirring up so much trouble. But those were the days. Those were the days. And as I was sitting on the couch, I was really just thinking about that. How the sun gets to touch this home every year of my life, and I get to experience it every year of my life, as long as we have that home in our family. And so it's really just traveled through time with us. And I think that's so amazing that I get to experience sunrise in that house for much longer than the average person, I feel, could experience somewhat of a childhood home. Because I wasn't raised in Virginia. Well, no, let me not say that. I wasn't born in Virginia. I was raised part ways there. But I was born and raised in Maryland and then moved to where I am at now. But Virginia is such a homey place. It's my second home, I call it. I'm just blessed. I'm just really blessed to be able to see that house through all of its time. Yeah. I think that's all I want to say about that. I think I'm going to read another one. Out of the same book. Actually, no. We're going to get my other one, my other little notebook that I filled. My best friends also got that for me. And I'm dang near done with it. I think you're watching this. I think I told you both that. But, yeah, I finished dang near the book, which makes me happy because I've never filled a journal before. I've always been so distracted by life that I wrote like a few things and then I never finished them and I moved on. I dated some of these. I didn't date all of them, but I don't really care. These are past poems. A lot of them are more recent, like this year, last year, and yeah, because they got me this book last year. This is the book itself. It's very pretty. There's a fairy on it. They know me very well. I like these little cute things. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always been a lover of all things supernatural. Boom, 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 boom. This one, I'm going to read this one. This one was September 9th, 2023. I went to Puerto Rico with my siblings, and it was one of the best trips I ever had in my entire life. It was the first trip that we all really had together as adults, outside of the country. Well, I mean, in the country, unfortunately. The US owns Puerto Rico when it should be sovereign. I called it Isabella. I was in old El San Juan with my siblings, and we were exploring, and we went to the fort where slaves were brought into the town by the Spanish. Yes. And there was a statue of the princess of Spain at that time. I don't think she was the queen, I think she was the princess. I was really looking at the statue, walking along this fort, alongside the water, walking on the dock, and I was just like, okay, so this is in the past. People were stolen from their homelands and brought here and never saw their homeland again. They were separated from their families from here on and forced to live here against their will, and all manner of atrocities were carried out thereforth. And then I was thinking about the Spanish soldiers. There was on the woman's plaque, it spoke about how the soldiers would kiss like the dock or something, in thanks to like the safe voyage home. And I just thought that dynamic was very interesting, how they, excluding all emotion out of this, voyaging across an entire ocean is not easy, duh. But then I think about all the people that were stolen from West Africa. I don't know what the image looked like, but I know it was horrid. And as one person is thinking the voyage home, the other never gets to see home again. And I just thought the dynamic was very strange. And then I thought about the princess herself, and I thought about her as someone who is all the way at home in her home country of Spain, sitting in her castle, knowing that this crusade is happening. I don't know how much power she had at the time. A lot of the time, queens didn't really have that much power, unless you were able to persuade the king into making certain decisions. Again, I don't know if she was a princess or a queen, but we're just gonna run with what I don't know and what I do know for now. And she doesn't get to see that in person. She doesn't know what this looks like. She doesn't know what the voyage feels like. She doesn't know what it's, she doesn't see the faces of the people that were stolen from their homes and how dejected they were and all the pain that they were forced to endure thereon. She doesn't know what that looks like. And yet she lives under a system that also controls her to make these decisions for the benefit of her country, which is the downfall of another's. And in here, I express that in one of the lines where it basically is me questioning, she's kind of like she's just a pawn. Anyways, let me just get to the poem. There were several things that I thought about in here, but this is the poem and it's called Isabella. They say she played a huge part in El San Juan's establishment. Her statue overlooks the port where free men should have walked, and the salty ocean where men jumped to be free. I overheard that the Spanish soldiers walked these original gates with prayers and gratitude on their lips, in thanks to the safe voyage. That's funny. Selective compassion. The statue was shielded by a tree. No, the tree grew tired of her audacity, listening to the whispers in the sea, and took her vision. And maybe it protected another victim of corruption from the wrath of innocent people. Who knows? I parted the leaves myself out of curiosity and read her supposed dedication. My curiosity faded. I became more interested in the vines creeping up the port walls, the barnacles infesting the base of the dock legs, and the fish feeding off of the barnacles. The land amazes me, making food and corpses of the past, and the beasts carrying on as dutiful servants to the land's wishes. And then I often like to leave a quote at the end of certain poems, and this quote was, "The people colonize and establish. The land decolonizes their establishments." Putting that image in our minds of vines growing over everything, land swallowing up our creations over time if we left them neglected, and even if we didn't neglect them, constantly just growing over everything that we make, because that's what the land does. And I find it so beautiful how the harsh actions of a human that believes that they'll be here forever, that tries to seize power that doesn't belong to them, which really just makes them look weak, not powerful in my eyes. They'll be forgotten. The land will eat them and everything that they've made and created. It'll also eat everything that good people create. But good people also last longer in our minds, in our hearts. At least I think so. And I just find that so funny. It's something that we can't control. We can't control the growth of Earth. We can try, but everything always grows back. And everything that we once built could eventually be swallowed if we didn't monitor it enough and monitor it well. And I just love that. I love that Earth can eat everything that we've made and turn it into food. Like certain temples across the globe that were literally just swallowed by the land. But you can still see the frame of the temple. And we know that it is the temple underneath that. And some of these temples have been uncovered by all the big machines that we've invented today, like the cranes, and I was gonna say a brand, like the cat, is it Hellcat? Whatever that orange machinery looks like, and whatever the brand is. You know what I mean. Construction sites. Pulling the land back so we can see what the temple looked like once again. Half of me thinks that those things should be left alone. It's desecration, all for human curiosity. And, the other half of me is like, it's important to learn these things though, and sometimes we need to see it in person so that we can, in the right hands of the right people, tell the truth of the past that was once made a lie by the very people who tried to take over, like the Spanish and like the Portuguese and the French and whoever, all them Europeans, I just was really there and I was really thinking about all these things. And that's all I really have to say about that. I don't want this video to be too long. It's already about 20 minutes. And I'm getting a little bit tired, so I think I'm going to take a nap. And then maybe pick up a little bit more later. Maybe I'll have more energy. Who knows? But that's that. See you later.